India is facing renewed pressure on the rupee. Between late November 2024 and now, the rupee has depreciated by nearly 7%, falling from around 83 rupees 0.4 per dollar to about 89 rupees 0.2. While this is not unprecedented, the rupee had weakened by 11% to 12% in 2018. The current situation echoes that earlier phase of global uncertainty. In 2018, under the Trump administration's strong US dollar trends, rising American interest rates and escalating trade tensions created turbulence for emerging market currencies. The Reserve Bank of India responded with currency swap operations, completing a $5 billion swap in 2019. In a similar spirit, the RBI conducted a $10 billion buy-sell swap in February 2025 to infuse long-term rupee liquidity during global stress. Despite the RBI selling nearly $50 billion in foreign exchange since November to curb volatility, the rupee has continued to slide. This highlights the strength of external pressures, including a widening current account deficit. A major driver of this deficit is the sharp rise in bullion imports as people seek safe assets in uncertain times. Exporters too are under pressure, facing higher US tariffs that affect competitiveness. Yet, there is room for cautious optimism. India's foreign exchange reserves remain strong at around $693 billion. Importantly, retail inflation has declined steeply, with CPI at just 0.25% in October 2025, far below the RBI's 2% to 6% target band. This gives the central bank the flexibility to allow mild currency depreciation without resorting to steep interest rate hikes. However, India is now shifting from cheaper Russian crude to relatively costlier US oil imports. Since crude oil makes up more than 20% of India's import bill, rupee depreciation combined with higher oil prices could push inflation upwards again. This situation highlights a long-standing structural weakness: India's heavy dependence on imported oil. Monetary policy alone cannot fix this vulnerability. The central government must treat faster electrification or transport diversification of energy sources and strategic reduction of fossil fuel dependence as national priorities. Moreover, India must rethink its trade strategy. Recent trade agreements with Japan, the UAE, and ASEAN have not improved India's trade balance. In fact, they have often tilted it further against India. What India needs is a coherent long-term trade and energy policy that strengthens economic resilience.